If you've taken the courses in order, which again, I highly suggest you do, you'll arrive here with an understanding of the basics of blockchain technology. In the previous video, we talked generically about blockchain, but now let's talk specifically how Bitcoin and how the blockchain system works with Bitcoin. I say Bitcoin specifically, but you can take this model and pretty much apply it to any number of the 6,000 plus cryptocurrencies in the world right now. So how does Bitcoin work? The Bitcoin network is comprised of three parts. We have users, simple, nodes, and miners. We're going to get more complicated as we move forward. The first part of Bitcoin are the users. Have you ever sent someone Bitcoin? You ever received any? Purchased any on an exchange? Congrats! You're officially a Bitcoin user. Well, this is the easiest one to cover, so bear with me. We're going to get a little more complicated, but not too much. So the second part of Bitcoin? Well, now we come to the nodes. I didn't mention this particular term in the blockchain tech video, but I did touch on it a bit. We have these files. We have these files that have transactions in them. So how and where do we store those? We need somewhere we can go check account balances, confirm transactions, send transactions to each other through the blockchain system. We call these devices, these locations where the blockchain is located, nodes. So now inside of nodes, we have two types, full nodes and lightweight nodes. Full nodes are locations out on the internet where the entire blockchain, and again, blockchain in this case is what we're talking about is transaction history, where the entire transaction history of Bitcoin can be viewed. This also makes them locations where transactions are sent in order to be put into the next block by the miners, i.e. their entry points into the network. When a transaction is sent to a full node, that full node broadcasts the transaction to all of the nodes it's connected to, thereby telling the rest of the Bitcoin network about a transaction within a few seconds or so. Now, you can pull up a full node right now, and you can help the Bitcoin network. As of the end of November 2017, we have a little under 12,000 full nodes out on the network. We could always use more. Remember, the more nodes we have, the more miners we have, the more users we have, the stronger the network is. So if you decide that you want to put up a full node, check mycrypto.guru. We will be putting up a video that shows you how to set up a full node if you want to help the network. Now, on to lightweight nodes. Lightweight nodes are slightly different. Lightweight nodes are also known as SPV nodes or SPV wallets, which stands for Simplified Payment Verification Nodes. These are nodes typically that exist on your cell phone. Your cell phone can't function as a full node. Not only does it just not have the storage capacity to hold the entire blockchain, but it's doubtful you would want a full node on your cell phone as it would probably eat up your monthly data limits. So a lightweight node connects to the network and contains a wallet, but uses full nodes to confirm and transmit transactions. So full nodes are locations where the full blockchain exists, and because they contain the entire blockchain, they are used as entry points to a network. So as a user with a cell phone wallet, I decide to send 0.0012 Bitcoin to a place called Nincomsoup in Shoreditch, London, which is the first place I ever used Bitcoin, by the way. And what happens? My phone connects to a Bitcoin full node that's close by electronically on the internet, signs a transaction with my digital signature, then sends that transaction up to the node for processing. Now here's the thing. Full nodes broadcast transactions, but they do not confirm account balances, and they do not verify transactions. So how does a transaction get put into a block and therefore part of the transaction history of Bitcoin? Well, this is where miners come in. Miners listen to full nodes. They monitor for incoming transactions. When a transaction is sent to a node, the miner grabs it, verifies it by searching the entire blockchain transaction history. Remember, we're adding and minusing the whole way. Confirming the wallet that's sending the Bitcoin to another wallet actually has that much Bitcoin to send. So they confirm transactions on one side, and the other side is creating the hash that ties up the block and places it in the chain. But again, that side of it is more advanced than we're getting here. So we'll go back. So miners are out there listening to nodes and making sure that you're being honest. And as I said in a previous video, at any given moment, 7 to 8% of every transaction that hits the Bitcoin network is fraudulent. The miners are the ones that reject those transactions. So now that we've seen how users, miners, and nodes all work in the system, a question we get a lot around here is, why are fees so high? Or Why are our fees so low? Or why are our fees X? Doesn't matter. And people are wondering how fees are calculated. So let's go over very quickly how a wallet is made and how transactions move. And of course, that will relate to how fees are calculated. So what we have here is a wallet with 17 Bitcoins in it. It doesn't really have 17 Bitcoins in it. It has unspent outputs in it that equal 17. At some point in time, we were sent 2 Bitcoins, 4 Bitcoins, 5 Bitcoins, and 6. So we have those 4 pluses in there. Again, we're not an accounting system, we're a ledger system. And those 4 pluses are what you'll hear people refer to as an unspent output. We haven't spent them yet. And when we do spend them, they become a spent output because we output them from our wallet. So let's say that we want to send 16 Bitcoins to a friend of ours. So we send 16 Bitcoins on, but we can't make 16 out of 2, 4, 5, and 6. So what do? We send 2, 4, 5, and 6 forward, which is 17, and the system sends us 1 Bitcoin back in change. So now we'll be at 1 Bitcoin, and they'll have a 16 in their wallet. So how do unspent outputs relate to fees? Well, we've only got 1 meg of space to put all your unspent outputs into. And it's not transactions that we're trying to put in there. We're moving unspent outputs, which of course equal transactions. But my point is that, like with the wallet that we used a minute ago, I'm using 5 spots in that block because I'm sending 4 forward and then 1 back. I'm moving 2.5 times more data than if I just had to forward a 2 Bitcoin transaction. I'm using 5 times more data than if I just had a 16 with no change at all. So it's not necessarily the number of Bitcoins that you're sending that matter. It's simply the number of unspent outputs you're using to create those Bitcoins. So what's the next part of the fees? Well, the next part of the fees are how much everyone else is willing to pay to be in the next block. If they're willing to spend 200 Satoshis per byte, which just let that term go by for now, we'll talk about that one later. But let's just say they're willing to spend 200 and you're willing to spend 100. Well, you may wait a little while before you're in the next block, before it gets confirmed. If you're sending money to a friend of yours, okay, we'll send it with a low fee. Don't send it with no fee. I can tell you right now, it's never going to get confirmed. But send it with a low fee. If it takes 6, 12 hours to go through at a low point in the network, well, fine. They're not starving. You're just sending them some money. But if you're paying a vendor, you need to pay them on time. Send it with a higher fee. So these are the things that just go into, you go, okay, well, why does my $500 worth of Bitcoin cost more to send than my friend's $1,000 worth of Bitcoin? Because the network doesn't care how much you are sending as far as the value of it. The network only cares about the burden on the network, how much space you're taking up and how much you're willing to pay to be a burden on the network and send the transaction through. So now you have a basic overview of how Bitcoin uses the blockchain system, how the nodes, miners, unspent outputs, fees, and all that works. And quite frankly, you have a general idea of how every cryptocurrency out there, save for just a very, very small handful of them. So if someone's telling you that they're not doing business as usual and they're not doing things as we described them here, be a little skeptical. Send a question over to mycrypto.guru, ask us on the forums. We'll do some research and get back to you. We can't know every cryptocurrency out there, but we'll find out the truth and we'll let you know. So we're here to help you. If you subscribe to this, we are absolutely your consultants. So ask away. So again, come to MyCryptoGuru if you have any questions. Digest this video here, and when you're ready, come over to video 4. We are going to learn how to actually use Bitcoin in day-to-day life.